Hello, I'm Hernan, and welcome to the 3D Color Factory Lesson 2 on multicolor 3D printing using support blockers in Cura and printing in an Ender 3 from Creality. For this lesson, we'll continue using the same nameplate of a kid's room with a soccer ball that we printed in Lesson 1. But this time, we'll print the text only in white instead of the white on black that we printed in the previous lesson. This is how the nameplate looks next to the nameplate from Lesson 1. Let's view the cross-section from Lesson 1. For this lesson, the ball remains unchanged, but the text will be white where it used to be black. Like this. We can see that now we print two different colors at the same height. Like in the previous lesson, we start by printing the green backplate. For that we need to block the top part like in Lesson 1. So let's start by opening Cura and load the model. To create the blocker, first select the model. Click on Support Blocker and then click on the model to create the eraser block. Select the eraser block from the Object List menu. Select Per Model Settings. From the four options, select Modify Settings for Overlaps. From the mesh type, select Cutting Mesh. Select these settings and modify them to zeros. Select the eraser, then Scale, uncheck Uniform Scaling, and set the values X 200, Y 100, Z 2. Select the Move option. Here select X 0, Y 0, Z at 2 mm. Let's slice it. And we see that only the back plate will be printed. Save this Gcode to the SD card and rename it One Green Backplate, so we know that it is the first print and the color is green. Looking at the cross-section, we see that the eraser needs to be lowered to block the green backplate. And to be able to print the black portion of the soccer ball, we need two more erasers. One to block the white portion of the soccer ball, and the other one to block the text. Let's go back to Cura. Select Prepare and select the eraser, then move and make Z 0. Select the eraser, right-click and select Multiply Selected Model. This time the number of copies is 2. Now we have 3 erasers. We're going to use one of the new erasers to block the white portion of the soccer ball. First, select one of the new erasers, then select the scale X 100, Y 100, Z 1. And move to X0, Y0, Z3. This brings the eraser to the center at height 3. With your mouse, place the eraser to cover the soccer ball. Now let's use the other eraser to block the text. Select the other eraser, then scale X100, Y100, Z2. Then move to X0, Y0, Z2. This brings the eraser to the center at height 2. With the mouse, place the eraser to cover the text. When we slice the model, in preview, we should be seeing only the circle of the soccer ball. Let's save this new Gcode to the SD card and rename it to Black Soccer Ball. Now let's work on the white layers. In the cross section, we see how we want to move the erasers to see only the white parts. First, we need to move the eraser from the top of the soccer ball to the bottom of the soccer ball to block the black part of the soccer ball. And then move the eraser for the text to expose the bottom section of the text. Now let's do this in Cura. First, select the eraser that is on the soccer ball and move it to Z2 to block the black part of the soccer ball and expose the white part. Then select the eraser on top of the text and move it to Z3. This way it will block only the top part of the text. Let's run the slicer again. Now we see that only the white layers will be printed. Let's save this Gcode and rename it 3 white soccer ball. Great! Now it's time to work on the Gcodes to keep the bed hot between prints and to avoid the crash that happened in lesson 1. These are very simple and very important edits to the Gcodes. Let's select Gcode 1 green backplate and right-click to open it in Notepad. The only change we need for this Gcode is to keep the bed hot between prints while we change the filament, so we don't risk the print coming loose from the build plate if it gets cold. Scroll down all the way to the end and look for instruction M140. We see that the good friends from Cura left us a note saying M140 equals 0, meaning turn off bed. We want to keep the bed on, so we need to cancel this instruction. Adding a semicolon at the beginning of the line will convert this instruction into a comment, which means the printer will ignore whatever comes after the semicolon. There are 2 lines with M140 equals 0. Make sure both have a semicolon at the beginning of the line. We X out of Notepad and save the file. Make sure the file keeps the .gcode as the file type. Now let's work on the second Gcode. Open Gcode 2 black soccer ball in Notepad. Some 30 lines down from the top we'll find layer count and layer. Let's add 3 blank lines just above layer count. This is where we will add the instructions to avoid the crash that happened in lesson 1. We will change the path of the extruder. Instead of going in a straight line from the origin, we will make it go up first, then horizontally just above the print starting point, and then down to where it should start printing. To accomplish this, we'll use the move instruction G0. 4 lines below layer count, we find a line that starts with G0, F something, X something, Y something, and Z 2.2. This instruction means that the nozzle will move from whatever it is to these XYZ coordinates in a straight line. The F means the speed of the move. At this point in the Gcode, the nozzle is near the origin 0, 0, 0, and if it moves to these new coordinates, it will go in a straight line and it will crash with the green backplate that we just printed. Copy this G0 line and paste it twice in the extra spaces that we just created. In the top line, we delete X something and Y something, and for C, we change the value from 2.2 to 5. This will make the nozzle go up to the 5 mm height. Then in the next line, we delete Z 2.2. This will make the nozzle travel in a horizontal straight line at height 5 mm to the XY position in the second line. And then it will go down to Z 2.2 and start printing. Now we have to repeat the add semicolon to the M140 instruction at the end of the Gcode like we did with Gcode 1. Save this Gcode. Now let's open Gcode 3 white soccer ball in Notepad. We do the same instruction to avoid the crash. Copy and edit the crash avoiding instructions, but this time, since it is the last print in this project, we do not do anything with the M140 instructions because we want the bed to turn off. This is the original path of the nozzle, and this is the new path after editing the Gcode, where we go over the black ball and then down to print the white text. Now let's print it to see if what we did actually works. Load your first filament, in this case green, and print Gcode 1 green backplate. It will take about 3 hours to print. Remember that once it finishes printing, the bed heating will remain on. Change the filament to black and start printing. Here we see the nozzle go up, then travel in a horizontal line to the starting XY coordinates, and then down to start printing. When the black layers finish printing, change the filament to white and print Gcode 3 white soccer ball. We see that the nozzle goes up and travels to the starting point without crashing. Uh-oh, this is not good. The white filament is not sticking to the green. I was planning to show you that this may happen in future lessons. Once it did happen here, let's talk about it now. What is happening is that the gap between the nozzle and the previous print is a little too big, and it is not pressing the filament against the previous part. Thus, it is not sticking. There are a number of reasons why this happens. It could be the filament type, the temperature, maybe it has to do with the calibration of the E-steps, or flow rate, or it could be something else. It doesn't matter. The print can be salvaged, and I will show you how to prevent this from happening. First, stop the print and carefully remove the trouble print. Don't forget to keep the bed hot. Don't worry about some marks left behind from the failed print. The new print will cover those marks. Let's go back to Cura. In Chet's video about using post height for multicolor printing, he mentioned that in order to promote addition to the new color, he likes to redo the last layer of the previous print. This means that the new color will start printing at the same height as the last one. In other words, it is creating a kind of interference between both prints. To create this interference, we need to lower the white layers by 0.2 millimeters. To do that, select the model and move it from Z0 to Z minus 0.2, and lower all the erasers by 0.2 millimeters as well. Slice it and save it to the SD card. Rename the Gcode 3A white soccer ball to have a different name. We have to do the same edits to the Gcode as before to make the nozzle go up, then travel in a straight line, and then down to start printing, avoiding crashing with the previous print. So we add the 3 blank lines and copy and edit the move command lines. One to make it go up, and the second one for the travel in a straight line to the start printing point. We go back to the printer and print this new Gcode. And we see that the print is coming out the way it's supposed to, which means that the interference works in promoting the addition between different prints. Let's see the transition from the text to the soccer ball. So far it looks good. We see that the first white layer on top of the black looks kind of thin. This is actually good. It means that the white filament is being pressed against the black layers, promoting addition. Now that the print is finished, let's compare it with the print from lesson 1. First we see that there is no line where the nozzle crashed in the previous print, and the text is white without the black bottom. You can see that the black part of the soccer ball is at the same height as of the white text. This cannot be done using the post height method. In the next lessons, we'll continue expanding on this technique. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.